Hello friends. 2024 is now officially behind us, and it's been a year, to say the least. It's been pretty rocky on my end, hence the lack of uploads and lack of interactions with other creators in the community. Believe me, I've watched your videos, but with mental health and stuff being an unfortunate factor, I haven't been as active or supportive as I would have liked, and I do apologize for that. With that said, let's take a look back at the past 12 calendar months to see what happened. Actually, since 2023 didn't get a proper video, let's talk about what went on then too. And for a bonus, I'm gonna talk a little bit about runs I worked on but never followed through with. Let's go!
Topic number 1. Runs and videos from the past 2 years. Aspel Remastered.
I wasn't exactly subtle about the fact that my updated Aspel run was gonna take a back seat to anything else I wanted to work on. That said, I do wish I would have worked on this run more, as I pretty much completely abandoned it once the Richard 1 video went up. Unironically, I don't think I've booted up Graces since then. While that level of activity would get you switched off at a hospital, it's honestly kinda par for the course for me, and I still fully intend to see this run through to the end. Obviously, the scope of it is still up in the air because Graces bosses do be like that sometimes, but I'll do my best and only upload what I feel is up to snuff as per usual. I'm really grateful for the love what videos I have uploaded have gotten though, so thanks a lot for that.
Zillia 1 Jude.
I would have loved to have worked on this run some more, but holy moly, I tried installing some DLC costumes and it completely messed up not only my saves for this game, but my saves for Xillia 2 as well, so that's definitely really cool. Boy, am I glad that happened. Definitely didn't kill my motivation or anything, no sir. RPCS Free is such an amazing emulator, god. Jokes aside, that was definitely a massive blow to this run's progress, but it's by no means cancelled or anything. Jude is up there with my favorite Tales characters ever, so I'm gonna see this through, even if it's fueled by fanboyism and, in the case of RPCS Free, sheer spite. I just have to decide what I'm gonna do about it, whether that be starting from scratch and getting back to where I was, or unfucking the state my Xillia 1 build of the emulator is on. We'll see, but there's definitely more Jude on the horizon, once I find a way to make Nameless Anomaly fun to watch, of course.
Crest Boss Collection.
I was actually pretty freaking stoked about this run, and I enjoyed it a bunch while I was working on it. And then Douse happened. Jokes aside, the cutoff for this run's progress was born out of my decision to play through NDX completely fresh. And I figured what better way to do that than to delete everything in the save folder, completely forgetting that all my Fantasia cross saves were also in that very same folder. So while the saves I had prepped for this one were accidentally nuked from orbit, I still feel like I got to showcase some pretty fun Crest gameplay in an admittedly busted version of Fantasia, so I'm not too upset about it.
Judas Boss Collection.
This run was going to be a lot bigger than it turned out to be. I absolutely adore Destiny 2, but I'll happily admit that running the game on Unknown is very limiting. While Judas is an incredibly versatile and strong character, the stats and resistances of some mid to late game bosses are just too overwhelming for him. Or at least they were for me, the guy controlling Judas. I had a lot of fun working on this run though, and it took me a very long time to scrape together what little footage is in the boss collection video, so I'm still very proud of what I managed to accomplish here, even though the video description might suggest otherwise. Hey, I guess that's what happens when you decide to upload in the middle of a depressive episode. Doesn't excuse anything, of course, just providing context. Okay, moving on.
Richard Boss Collection.
If Aspel is my favorite Graces character, then Richard is probably my second favorite. The focus on melee combat and spellcasting reminds me of playing Kratos or Celos as a kid. Fun fact, the Western release of Symphonia was over 20 years ago. Do you feel old yet? Lord knows I do. Anyway, while it was a lot of fun, I did feel like I was running out of stuff to do with the character that really interested and excited me, so I gradually lost interest and just called it quits there. I'm not totally against doing more with Richard, or any other Graces character for that matter, in the future, but for now I'm gonna focus on Aspel as far as that game goes.
Estelle Boss Collection.
My Estelle solo was admittedly a lot of fun at times, but it didn't turn into a full run because, like with Richard, I lost all interest at some point. In this case, it happened because I kind of felt forced to do the same knockdown combos over and over and over again. There were exceptions, of course, but they were few and far between. Giga Larva and Cursed Wanderer come to mind. The former because I got to bait out its trample recovery in a fun way, and the latter because it let me go full troll mode because that boss is an absolute joke. Gattuso was fun as well, but those interesting blips on the otherwise uneventful radar screen that was this run just weren't enough to keep me going. And that's fine. Some things just don't work out and that's how it goes, but I find Vesperia as a whole to kinda be like that. I know it's an incredibly popular game and all, but it's never quite scratched that itch for me in a solo sense. Maybe I'm the weirdo in this scenario, who knows, I mean, I eat kiwis like this, so that wouldn't be a stretch.
Tales of Hearts combo video.
I'm sure this video came as a bit of a surprise to many, because Hearts content isn't exactly common these days. I decided to make a combo video after I'd been labbing for a few weeks and really fallen in love with the game's combat. I enjoyed it before then too, of course, but it wasn't until I got to the post-game on my second playthrough, what I like to call when the fun begins, that I really dug deeper and started appreciating it more. Once you play Shing and you're flying all over the screen and somehow making it work, you're already stuck. You're a Hearts fan now. Out of all the combo videos I've made, this one probably took the most amount of time next to Unity. Mostly because I not only had to keep learning about the combat mechanics, but also because I had more characters to learn on top of that. Since before taking on this project, I'd mostly played Hisui, with a touch of Shing and Kunside when there were fun elemental weaknesses to exploit. As you'll have noticed if you watched the video, both Beryl and Kohaku/Kohawk/Amber/Steve were missing from the video, and that's simply because I couldn't come up with fun or interesting combos with them. That's it, that's the only reason. The same was true back when I released my first Berseria combo video, Alpha, which didn't feature Aizen for that very reason. Of course I featured him in the follow-up Omega, so does that mean there's a second Hearts combo video coming? Nah, probably not.
Ludger.
I don't know, man, I just wanted to play some more Luger.
Topic number 2. Runs I considered. I like shoving jelly beans up my ass.
The topic is kinda self-explanatory, but let me clarify a little bit just in case. As I alluded to at the start, in this part of the video, I'm gonna bring up runs I worked on for the past 2-ish years, but never actually kept working on. I'll start off real quick by just rattling off a few that died for really basic reasons.
Shing.
Did a couple bosses, had fun, but wanted to take it more seriously. Shelved for now.
Kyle.
Did 2 bosses, remembered the mid-game exists, and reconsidered.
Nanalie.
No.
Zealous.
Messed around with the debug GameCube ROM, did some bosses for shits and giggles.
Sheena.
See above, but also no.
Kizara.
My computer didn't like recording and running the game at the same time, so the video files were stuttery and janky. That's what I get for having a 1060 in my rig, I guess. Need to tinker some more with the settings, I think. Alright, those were the easy ones. Now let's talk about some of the ones I have a bit more reasoning for.
Rokaru.
This one lasted about a boss and a half, which puts it at roughly the same amount of progress as the short boss I just went through, but I think my reasoning is pretty good. Pat cell phone back tenderly. What? I want to make a really solid Berseria run. No modifications, no early game abundance of SG, just actual Berseria being played in and out of boss fights. And that's gonna take some labbing and planning, which is why I've shelved it for now. It might not even be Rokaru in the final product, it could be literally any of the other party members. But yeah, I want to dig a lot deeper into this game and see if I can make something I can be happy with, because my old Loffiset videos certainly do not fit that bill.
Luke.
Let me preface my slandering of one of the Holy Trinity by saying that I never had a PS2 as a kid, so I do not have nostalgia for this game. Not that I could have played it even if I did have a PS2, because Europe didn't get it until the 3DS port, but you get my point. Double obstacle, let's not waste more time on that. While I've done plenty of labbing and testing over the years, and perhaps especially 2023, I still don't see myself ever running Abyss. The combat doesn't interest me in the slightest, and that's a deal breaker since I can't base a run on great characters and story, which are 2 massive points in the game's favor otherwise. Maybe my disinterest in running Abyss has to do with the fact that my favorite character is Luke, and I know we've all seen enough Rending Frost resets to last 6 lifetimes, so I'll spare you that. I don't think the fact that Light Spear Cannon can also be used to reset your chain is enough of a carrot on a stick to fuel an entire run. That'll get you into the middle of a combo video at best. So yeah, no Abyss from me most likely ever, but I'm glad there are people out there running the game and doing a good job doing it, that's awesome.
Flynn.
Those who've been around my channel for a good while might remember I've been trying to get a Flynn run off the ground more than once, and I tried again last year. My reasoning for not sticking with it is largely the same as with the Estelle run, it's just not interesting enough. Maybe I need to get out of my own head, but everything I do in this game has that air of been there, done that. Which is a shame, because I like Vesperia on the whole. Obviously not on a fresh playthrough, holy moly do people have selective memory about that grindfest, but on New Game Plus with a level 20-ish party on Namkabanda Isle with almost the entire roster of bosses right there in front of me, I just kinda and ah and lap some stuff like, oh, Rending Quake combos after Dragon Swarm if you cancel fast, that's cool. And then I closed the game for months. Maybe Flynn isn't the answer then, and that's entirely possible. I've been testing the waters with other characters and let out an occasional, But as of right now, it's not very likely I'll pick up Vesperia anytime soon, but you never know.
Topic number 3. Closing words.
Well then, that was it. That's all I wanted to say in regards to content on the channel. I do have some other things to briefly go over though, and I want to start with an apology for the lack of uploads. I know it's just a hobby, and a niche one at that, but it really does mean something to me, and not doing enough bums me out. Though I guess it's hard to work on these things when you struggle getting out of bed most days. Oh well. Let's not end on a low note though, as I've noticed something these past few years that's been really cool. There are loads more content creators out there now, and it's been a blast to see. I've gotten multiple messages along the lines of, hey, have you seen this channel? And there'd be a link to an active challenge run. I've been active around the tail scene for about 15 years, and I legit can't remember the last time something like that happened. Usually whatever videos would get thrown around in my vicinity would be grainy old Japanese footage recorded on what I can only assume is a Dazzle captured card dipped in mud, and it'd always be at least 7 years old. So I'm really stoked we're seeing an uptick in active runners and that the scene is going through a bit of a renaissance. It's cool to see. And last but not least, October 28th, 2024 was the 10-year anniversary of my first ever Tales solo I uploaded to YouTube. I turned 30 last year. That's a third of my life ago. What? I've met some really cool people over the years, and I of course don't see myself going anywhere anytime soon. And while I might struggle to keep up with everyone else in the community, I'll still be there, trundling along and trying my best to entertain and, if you'll allow this soapbox moment to last a little bit longer, perhaps even inspire. I've seen comments of people looking up to my contemporaries, and while I'm far from prolific in the community, I like to think that someone watching my videos might think to themselves, I want to try that. Because that's how I got started, and perhaps that's how all of us got into this in the first place anyway. I want to be the first to say, do it, give it a try. You have nothing to lose, and if you end up liking it, you can be part of a passionate community. I've seen ups and downs in this scene, and I think now would be a great time to take the leap and just give it an honest shot. And with that, I've run out of things to say. I don't really know how to end this, so I'm just gonna say have a good one, and I'll see you around.